Hello, all the beautiful people. We are now in my backyard. If you watched my previous video, the one where I was completely heavy-hearted and lost for words, I am feeling a bit more positive and optimistic at the moment. I'm putting myself back together. The situation is still not resolved. I guess it's just like a lot of things piled up together between the pandemic not quite yet over, and then the war in Europe starting, so close to my family in Poland, and then on top of that all these rains and floods happening all over southeast Queensland where I live. It's been just a lot to deal with, and quite frankly I've been getting over it and really wanting to go back to normal, whatever is normal anymore in this world. Anyways, I am feeling better. I have some ideas that I will talk to you about a bit later in this vlog, because these are big, life-changing, reality-altering kind of ideas, which unfortunately I come up with too many of those, and as a result I keep making changes in my life and keep kind of turning my life upside down, which I've done quite a few times in my life now, but I'll make a separate video about that at some point. At the moment, as you can see, it's not raining anymore. It was actually sunny before, now it's overcast, but we had sun this morning. This is now, I think, the first day without rain. Yesterday was pretty good. I think there was just a little bit of rain. Other than that, it's been much better. I did hear in the news that they're telling us to brace ourselves for more rain and for more floods, but so far things are good. And actually I'm gonna show you what's been happening around here. So my house did not get flooded, which is amazing. But behind this fence, which is the back fence of my backyard, there is the nature reserve behind. And that nature reserve, oh, you can't really see it right now, but that was flooded. Like, that was just, there was a lake there with all the trees and all the plants kind of sticking out of the water. Like, it was that bad. But I was yesterday in such a kind of desperate, just confused and miserable, I guess, state because of it all, and because of the rain, and because I just couldn't see the end of it, and I was so scared that my house would get flooded. And I actually rang one of my friends who spent his entire life in Brisbane, and as a knowing it kind of local, I asked him, like, what's the deal? Like, is that what life in Brisbane looks like? Is that what I should expect on a yearly basis, or even more frequent basis, that this is what's gonna happen, you know, like the rain is just gonna go crazy and I'm gonna have to deal with floods? And he said no. So that was like literally one of the biggest floods, rains in many years. So looks like it's not gonna be a huge problem. And the only, I guess, piece of damage that happened was this tree right here. All these beautiful flowers used to be up in the air, whereas now it's kind of almost sitting on the ground, very low, because the branch got broken. Above that, I guess, hanging brown thing, there is a branch that was broken. I am not exactly, I feel like I'll probably have to get somebody to cut this branch off. Like, just get somebody with a saw who can do it. But I figured what I could do today, just to maybe like tidy it up a little bit and avoid any further damage, is to cut off some of those branches and, you know, see if that can, you know, sort of clear this area a little bit, because right now it's just covered with this huge branch. So that's a little job for today. I have no idea if I'll be even able to cut any of these parts, but yeah, let's see how I go, because I do have a guy tomorrow actually coming, who will mow my backyard. It's it's getting a bit grassy and it's time to cut some of these. Yeah, time to mow it. I like grass, but the problem in Australia with your backyard is that if you allow it to like grow out too much, you might get a snake. Or a few, God knows. And yeah, snakes in Australia can be very, very dangerous, like deadly dangerous. So this is a worry. Plus, I'm not sure how aware Rosie is of snakes, and I have no idea if she would how she would react to a snake. So I just don't want to risk it. She has once brought me a snake. It was dead, thank God. But you know, I don't know if she killed it, if there was a fight, or did she just find it. So I just want to make sure I'm not dealing with snakes in my backyard at any point. So that was not a crazy amount of fun. I basically managed to clear just a bit of a space sort of around my compost bin to allow me access to it. That big chunk of that branch and all the beautiful leaves and flowers on it are still sort of hanging there to the other side. And I probably have to get somebody to do it professionally. The other thing about the floods and all the rain here is that a lot of the roads got flooded as well. It's one thing that, you know, I was literally scared of going to sleep and not knowing like what's gonna happen and if my house gonna get flooded in the middle of the night. That was a real fear. But another thing was that a lot of the roads got flooded. We basically got cut off from certain places and I couldn't go to the gym. Even to go to the shops, I had to sort of go around and queue for such a long time to even get anywhere. I was still able to get supplies, so that's amazing. I was able to get food, but you know, so many things got cancelled. My hikes got cancelled, my you know, different catch-ups and meetups got cancelled as well, obviously because it just wasn't safe to drive on the road. And I guess that's why it kind of, all of that added to this kind of, I guess, sense of despair that has been affecting me and many of my friends. But we do have something else to discuss here, which is big and a little bit scary. And by saying that, I mean plenty scary. And that's that I've been, for the last few days, I've been thinking of going back to Europe. Yeah. It's a very fresh thought. I'm literally still thinking and considering different ideas and like where to go and when to go, etc. But what is kind of clarifying for me right now is that I would love to go to Italy, and I would like that to happen early next year, so in about a year's time, which is not really that much time. And you know, like I'm considering moving not only countries but continents again, which I've done that before, and it's a big thing. It's a big thing to do. It's a big change in life, but there are different reasons. I guess the first one is my family. I've missed them so much over the years. We just had this Zoom relationship for years now. I used to go every year back to Europe. Then things got busy with my business and finances. You know, it's a big expense to go back to Europe, to pay for a return flight to Europe when you're in Australia. So that got difficult as well. So then I started traveling every second year, and then COVID happened, and I actually haven't seen my family in 5 years now, because I was going, and I was just about to book my tickets back in 2020, and then the news broke out and COVID happened. So I couldn't go. I've been in Australia for 13 years now. This is my 14th year in Australia. And I've been traveling all over the place as well, moving from place to place. And I've loved it. I've just had the most amazing time. But it is starting to feel like maybe it is time to move on. I was so confused always by people who would leave their home area where they grew up and then they would travel and then they would come back home. I always thought, like, why would you come back home? There's a whole world out there. But I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to understand it. There is value in being close to home. I don't really want to move to Poland. I don't think I could live in that climate ever again. Which is why I'm thinking of southern Europe. And again, if you have watched my last video, you would know that this is something that's been just kind of sitting there for the last few days. But you know, in the last video, I was just kind of showing out these ideas because I was just in such a state of confusion. Whereas right now, I am actually considering all of that for real. And so that's why I'm thinking Italy would be a great place. It's warmer than the rest of Europe, and there is just so much culture and history and art there, and there's the Alps and a lot of coast, you know, with access to the water. The food, oh my god, like for my quality of life, food and coffee and wine are just so important, and it's the land of great food and wine and coffee. So that sounds amazing. People are meant to be just so welcoming and so wonderful. And I need that. I need my community. I need my people around me once I can actually talk to them. So that's the, you know, one difficult thing about it is that I don't speak any Italian. But I feel like if I put my head to it, between now and early next year, I'll be able to speak it somewhat well. And I'm sure that near the big cities you can speak in English and you can still communicate well. I will be so close to my family, you know, I could just drive, you know, I already checked, it's 16 hours drive from Italy to Poland, or, you know, a much shorter flight. I guess I'm also starting to feel that yearning in my heart for Europe in a way that I maybe didn't quite appreciate it when I was living there, because it was just available, it was there. Europe is so rich in so many ways. I'm not talking financially rich, I'm talking so many people and mentalities and cultures and foods and experiences and adventures. There's just so much going on there. And Australia, as much as it's amazing and gorgeous and people are so incredibly beautiful and speak English, Australia just hasn't got that culture and that tradition and that history, because the white Australia only has been sort of developing for the last 200 years or so. Plus the spiders, oh my god, I'll be so happy to never come across a huntsman in my life ever again. They just kind of just pop out everywhere and they're so big and so scary. So as you can see, even though it's a very new thought, it is gaining momentum, gaining traction in my head. I have been watching all these YouTube videos, you know, for the last few days, you know, all the things you didn't know about living in Italy and why did I move to Italy, or, you know, cultural shocks after you move to Italy, what it's like to live in Italy as a foreigner, what it's like to live in Italy when you don't speak Italian, and all of these. And I'm finding them just really beautiful, fascinating, inspiring, and I'm really loving what I see, which makes me think that I should probably make some videos about living in Australia as a foreigner. I'm not a foreigner anymore because I got my citizenship, but 13 years ago I arrived here as a foreigner, so I do have all those experiences and insights and yeah, information and knowledge. So yeah, look out for these. So yeah, my head is kind of spinning with all of that, with the, you know, with the recent events, the global events, the Brisbane events, but also my own personal thoughts and ideas. There's a lot of uncertainty. I have no idea what's gonna happen and what will come out of this, you know, of this year and next year. but I will keep you updated. So if you'd like to keep following my journey, make sure to subscribe. Please also like this video and leave me a comment. What are your thoughts? It's just, I guess I've put so much into this video, so it's even hard to ask what are your thoughts exactly on this or that, but just general, what comes to mind. I would love to have a little chat with all of you down in the comments below. And just one more thing before you go. I have just launched a Patreon account. After years of creating content and sharing free content with with people all over the world through YouTube, I've decided to finally ask for help and support with all the expenses. So if you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy my content, if you'd like to support me, if you'd like to just even buy me a coffee once a month, that would mean the world to me. Please head to my Patreon account and donate. That just, oh my god, that would be incredible, amazing, and so fantastic to receive this kind of support and gratitude from you guys. So thank you so much for considering that. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you very shortly in my next video. Mwah.